Water is our culture, it's our economy, it is our history, and without it, who are we as Baltimore? I mean, what's Baltimore without crabs or Fort McHenry or our harbor?
Blue Water Baltimore is an organization that's focused on improving water quality through strengthening communities and fighting for clean water. Before Blue Water was really Blue Water, there was no local group that was really doing advocacy focused just on Baltimore City and Baltimore County.
We've grown a lot over the past 5 years. When I started 9 years ago, we were putting in rain gardens in people's backyards, a few native plantings here and there. Larger projects take a lot more time, and there's a lot more headaches with permitting and things like that. But the impact at the end is tremendous.
We work primarily in Baltimore City and Baltimore County so we can be impacting the Patapsco and the Back River where all of our tributaries run. Unfortunately, they are two of the dirtiest rivers heading into the Chesapeake Bay.
So for me, this is the Jones Falls. This is where my journey began on the water world. It's super exciting. We have about 4,000 people that volunteer with us each year. It's church groups, corporate groups like we're out here today, students, and we've seen that number steadily grow as we've merged and have been fortunate enough to have dedicated staff like Katie Dix that's really on board to manage volunteers and their needs.
In 2015, we recorded over 14,000 hours donated by some of our volunteers. Yeah, that is actually pollution. I called that in as a pollution report. A lot of our pipes are just failing.
When it rains in Baltimore, when we literally have a drop of water that hits one of our roads, it's going to head downtown to the Baltimore Harbor, and it's going to take a couple different ways to get there. But when it lands in the inner harbor, it's landing with millions of other drops of rain that have had similar journeys, picking up similar contamination. When they all mix, and they mix with the amount of raw sewage and other types of things that are coming that are directly piped, we really have sort of a contaminated soup in the Baltimore Harbor.
I heard that Blue Water Baltimore was developing this project called Blue Alleys. It's a stormwater intervention. The idea is that you remove solid, impervious surface, replace it with more spongier filtering material that allows rain and stormwater to flow through it and be carefully filtered before it rushes out into the harbor or into our water system.
Stormwater management facilities are needed to be able to treat the pollution of urban runoff.
So today we're here at Library Square. It's the latest construction project that Blue Water Baltimore has taken on. We're really excited to be here as it's one of the largest that we've undertaken.
We're absolutely sure that we wanted to have as close a partnership as possible with the community members. So we reached out to the various community groups here, and there was a huge interest in revitalizing it. And then we said, well, would you be interested in revitalizing it around a stormwater theme? So we've got a bunch of native landscaping and stormwater features, bioretention facilities behind me.
So right now we are standing on Harris Creek, which is a fully channelized creek running through East Baltimore. Our project here treats over a ½ acre of stormwater runoff from the neighborhoods north of here, which will significantly improve the water quality of the creek, eventually the harbor, and eventually the Chesapeake Bay.
One of the things that I really love about Blue Water is it takes the big picture, but it's also grassroots. And now it's become a force for good on its own. And I think it's looked at as kind of a model around the country.
Until Blue Water was really out on the harbor, the only water quality samples were coming in through stormwater outfalls and through the pipe infrastructure, not from the harbor. We are a little toy in the bathtub comparatively to some of the other ships that are out there.
Since 2008, we've been on the harbor every year, collecting samples at various locations. In that time, we've expanded our study to collect data for nutrients and other water quality indicators. We see really high levels of fecal bacteria after storms, and that is owing to stormwater pollution, but also really large sewage overflows that occur up and down the Jones Falls. And we use this instrument. It's got a whole bunch of probes here. Each of these is a probe, and it measures different types of water quality indicators. So we use this device used to collect water quality profiles. The data we produce is so rigorous that it's legally defensible. We can produce really excellent water quality assessments and speak from a place of authority when we say that pollution is really impacting our waterways.
We want to make sure that we're using science and data to drive advocacy, and so now we have a presence in Annapolis, a presence in City Hall. We make our way to the Hill. We are well armed with data that is credible and tells the story of how polluted our water is.
We'd like to do nothing more than really restore this waterway so it's safe for people to go to their neighborhood stream.
Growing up in Baltimore, or Maryland in particular, the Chesapeake Bay is one of the biggest jewels and one of the greatest things that we have, and we have to treasure it, and that's one of the biggest values of blue water.
People are fishing here. They're fishing in the Middle Branch, they're fishing off the Hanover Street Bridge that you see, and they're feeding their families with that. This is a tradition that many people have to go fishing with their kids, and people think, who goes fishing in Baltimore? Well, these folks do, and it's important that we protect their public health by letting them know when the water is polluted and also cleaning up the water so that if they want to enjoy this river, they have just as much of a right to enjoy it as people do anywhere else in this state.
I'm working on a project for my church to help control the rainwater. I can't say enough about how helpful Blue Water of Baltimore has been to us. It just kind of gave me a worldview of what's happening with our water sources and how we've been contributing to its pollution. One of the practices that I've changed as an individual is to be very conscious of where the water's going, off property, not just mine, but everyone else's.
We want to be strengthening communities, and one of the key ways to do that is keep things green, clean, and keep people connected to people and people connected to the land.
We got a call that we had the chance to work with Blue Water to put in trees, and it was just amazing. I mean, the people was begging to put one in my yard, put one here. People loved them, they helped take care of them.
So the trees in the neighborhoods are shading the houses, which then are reducing the energy consumption. So that's one way they're helping, and then they're also slowing off the runoff, slowing off the flooding, and filtering the groundwater.
They impact public health. More trees, less bad air, fewer kids coming to the emergency room in asthma crisis.
They're calling it green infrastructure now because it's a part of the infrastructure of the neighborhood. We come in with our trees, we come in with the mulch, we're stripping things down, we're making them more environmentally savvy. But in doing that, we have to remove so much trash that's already there. This trash has a story. It's gonna go immediately down this drain. It's gonna travel through the drain straight to the harbor. I'm not sure that most people realize that most of their trash gets downtown more than they do.
If you want to look down the street, you see lots of trees. But once we pass Madison, we got a whole lot of concrete. The first phase runs from Linden over to Fulton Avenue, and we're planting approximately 225 trees.
Doesn't matter whether you live in Roland Park or in Greater Highlandtown or in Mandamon, people are looking for the same things, which are healthy places for them to live and work and play. But we really have learned to be grounded in that listen, learn, and then act. And we make sure that if we're gonna promise something to a community, we're gonna deliver.
And it makes it so much better when the people feel that their voice is being heard.
Water connects us all, our neighborhoods connect us all, and so we think the role that we're playing there is really bringing everybody together, providing tools when they need them, and frankly, providing a push.
Actually seeing the tangible change we're making throughout the city pays dividends.
So thank you all for coming out. You are here in Cherry Hill Park, and we are on the Patapsco River. And just because it looks clean now, wait till you folks head down to the river. Never fear, there's plenty of work to be done. So those of you who are picking up trash are gonna see a lot of plastic pollution. Plastic bottles and styrofoam and bags, and it's all part of our disposable culture. One of the terrible things about plastic, it's not just unsightly, but when those plastic pieces break down and they are made of petroleum products, they attract other petroleum products. Other petroleum products are often things like pesticides and fertilizer, gas and oil, and when they move down the Chesapeake Bay and are ingested by birds and fish and crabs, it's not real good for their systems and certainly not real good for our ecosystem.
All right, let's circle up, circle up, circle up.
You get to meet wonderful people. Everyone's here for a purpose, to really do more in the community. volunteering for the community is really a great way to learn about the city.
No gloves. Everybody's got gloves on with me. No gloves. I like to feel for it.
Everything, everywhere, everybody has a role in making clean water happen.